Dungeons and Dragons, anyone? This is another episode of the Flight Ringers podcast. I'm David King. That's Dan Spottswood.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
We are professional cartoonists, and we are Legion of Superheroes experts.
All right, dude. You want to do this ish? You read it, right?
It was hard to read, but I read it.
Really? I thought it was a good read.
I must have just been tired. It seemed a little slow.
Maybe it's because we've been covering and talking so much about the Baxter series. It feels to me like there's a lot going on compared to one of the Baxter issues.
Oh, I mean, I'm curious what the issue previous to this was like how it read. Like, was it like a breeze? Like it took 5 minutes to read?
I think Levitz is maybe scripting it. Like he scripted a couple or helped Roy Thomas script them for a couple issues before he took over completely.
I think that's what I found too when I flipped back a couple of issues. This is Legion of Superheroes 284. I got the whole collection of these, the direct market version and the newsstand version. Mm-hmm. I actually don't have the whole collection. I bet there's a British one and a Canadian one or something that I don't have. So whatever. Mm-hmm. Working on it.
Right.
Which one should I read? I'll read the newsstand one.
Yeah, I couldn't find I must not have this one anymore. I thought I did, but I can't find it. It's a problem with like getting rid of them and starting over. I don't remember if I bought it this time or last time.
You don't keep them all in the same box?
I try to keep them all together, but it might be among something else. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I had to look at it in this. See that cover?
Oh, yeah. It's silver shiny. Dark side. Wow.
That's right.
That's the Great Darkness Saga hardcover.
Mm-hmm.
Is that oversized? Is it bigger than a regular comic?
Yes, it is. It is. I don't know how much this really tells you because a lot of times they just have wider margins, but
oh yeah, so it's not that much bigger. It's maybe 5% bigger at the max, right?
Right. A lot of I don't know if they're still doing it, but DC, when they would collect like a 6-issue arc or something, they'll put it out as a hardcover first, and it'll be slightly bigger before they go to the paperback at the regular size.
I think I have. Well, it's in those UK books that I showed you last week.
Mm-hmm.
280. Was it in this one, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah, this goes up to 289. It starts at 285. Oh, it's not in this. Huh.
What?
It's not in this. That's kind of a weird cutoff because they could have put in 284, and this is the first issue of Paul Levitz's long run of writing Legion of Superheroes.
Right.
That's kind of weird they left it out of those. They must have a page count they've got to meet.
Right. It just makes sense to go ahead and include the beginning. And it's not entirely unrelated. Like he's starting to sow the seeds of the Great Darkness Saga, even in this issue that we're covering.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the team is starting to fracture a little bit. The beginnings of everything that start to play out through the Great Darkness Saga and beyond start to happen. He's laying out, with the Projectra and Karate Kid leaving the team, sort of, and that maybe that's not directly part of the Great Darkness Saga, but the storyline starts building there from them being there.
Yeah, I guess in this whole issue, it's kind of like he's got some ideas and he's putting the gears in motion of what he wants to do, I guess.
Right.
Like in the letters page, it says he's back taking over after 2 years. So it's been a little while since he was full-time on this. I mean, excluding, I guess, the 1 or 2 issues that he scripted over somebody else's plots.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he goes for it. He's beginning with this issue. He goes from 284 up to issue 313 as writer. And then he gets a whole new series where he writes issues 1 through 63 or something. It's like 100 issues.
It's pretty good. I thought he was gone longer than 2 years, but I guess that's probably right. I don't know. I feel like he's improved though. Like he, like this weird way he juggles all these characters. This is something he'd probably been thinking of over the last 2 years because he cut right out of the box. He's doing it in this issue, and he didn't really do that before.
Yeah, this reads just like one of the Giffen issues later on, or not too different from one of the Baxter series issues. Maybe there's a little bit more density going on.
Yeah, If anything, I think it reads a little better because maybe this is the first time he's pulling this, and it's more of a gimmick. And later, it kind of gets stale. Like he'll do issues like this that have a lot less going on than this one. At least there's a little action in here. The D&D stuff hasn't become repetitive yet. It kind of goes all over the place. It isn't like a story with a beginning, middle, and end so much as just going everywhere.
Yeah,
maybe
it's soap opera. It's totally written like if you watch a daytime soap opera.
Right.
It's like that, where there's a commercial right after some kind of little minor climax and a cliffhanger. We'll cut to something else. Right. And then we'll go back to like shit like, what? Dream Girl just kissed Bouncing Boy. What? Yeah. What's going on? Are they having a romantic affair? Extramarital affair? And he's cheating? Like, no, it's not that, of course. But that's kind of how he's decided to start writing Legion.
Yeah, and when he's firing on all cylinders, it works extremely well. But a lot of times, especially later on, it becomes like how a lot of those soap operas kind of just tread water. And not much is going on. They're just like bouncing from character to character.
Yeah, it's the same way for a week on the soap opera. And for Levitz, it's the same way for a year.
Yeah, 60 issues.
But anyway, yeah, all right. First couple of pages is Bouncing Boy hanging out in the Legion's Hall of Fallen Heroes.
Right. This seems to be Levitz. Levitz is back for the first time in a couple of years, and the very first thing he seems to want to do is clean house. So a lot of this issue seems to be a device to remove characters from the board. And he goes for all the typical ones that a lot of the fans think are redundant or silly, golden or silver agey. These are the ones that they married off quickly very often. So,
well, yeah, it's like you always say that, like, oh yeah, they put in some effort to marry off these stupid guys, Bouncy Boy and Do a Damsel with their dumb powers and get rid of them.
Right, a twofer.
But like they did the machinations of getting rid of them. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like they kind of jumped through hoops and teased about them rejoining, and they did. And now, like, getting rid of them again.
Well, basically, it's because somebody else was writing over this time. So Roy Thomas, I guess, had some interest in those characters, and he brought them back into the fold, or maybe Conway before him. I don't remember exactly, but they were back in. And probably a more blatant example is Superboy, which they made a very big deal out of his returning just 3 or 4 issues previous. He's on the cover and it's like, at last, Superboy rejoins the Legion. And he very quickly writes him out in this.
I guess so. In the letters page of this issue, where there's a letter writer who's like, I don't think Superboy should be part of the Legion. He's too powerful. He's too different when he's in the Legion comics than he is when he's in his own comics, personality-wise. And then the editor, or Paul Levitz, is like, I think it's good to have him in the Legion. We're going to keep him in the Legion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those letters, I think, are in response to his rejoining.
Right. The triumphant return part, I guess, yeah, you're right. It must have just happened a couple of issues ago. But then it seems like Levitz is dedicated to keeping him around to a certain degree.
Right. He uses him like twice before he kills him. But yeah.
Yeah.
Great Darkness. And then he shows up in a random issue of the Baxter series, like around issue 16 or somewhere around there.
Right. Yeah, you're right. He's getting rid of Bouncing Boy and Do a Damsel for sure. Mm-hmm. We don't know yet what he plans to do with Superboy, but yeah, use him one time maybe.
Right. So yeah, you have Bouncing Boy looking at they only have 3 statues at this point. They haven't had to get an asteroid yet to dedicate entirely to their dead teammates.
No, that I have to correct you there. Oh. The asteroid is for all heroes from all over the universe. Okay. It's not owned by the Legion or by RJ Brand. It's for it's I don't know, in the public domain or something.
Right.
I think maybe the remains of these guys are there, and just their statues are at Legion headquarters. Maybe.
Of course. All I know is by the time Mordrew brings them all the dead ones back, it's a pretty sizable army of dead Legionnaires.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we still have a lot to go in the death area.
Yep. Yeah, so he and Duo Damsel are planning on departing.
I think it's funny the way that Bouncing Boy's talking about, or he's having sort of an internal dialogue about how he wants to quit the Legion because he doesn't want to end up like these guys,
Right.
dead. And he's really objective about it. He's not very sentimental about these dead dudes. He's just like, I'm not going to be one of you losers, you know?
Right. Well, he says he only really knew Invisible Kid. I guess maybe he'd already been written out when Feral Lad was there. Feral Lad was only there a couple issues.
Yeah, I think he was Bouncing Boy was thin, so
Right.
he wasn't doing any
Right.
work. He was probably out playing the field. He's got his hot bod.
Well, remember that gag? Like, he finally got rid of the power, and he was thin. He's like, I'm thin, I'm good looking. Now I can get any girl he wants. And then he had like this kind of overweight, intentionally drawn, kind of ugly girl. It was his girlfriend. It was kind of a joke.
It's kind of a funny joke to me.
Yeah.
Like as a middle-aged guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you remember those Tex Avery cartoons where, man, this is a bad cartoon where it's like there's an Indian brave who's this fat loser guy.
Uh-huh.
And there's, if he kills the turkey for Thanksgiving, he can marry the chief's beautiful daughter. And every time they show the beautiful daughter, she's like this real curvy Tex Avery babe, but she has a veil on, you know.
Oh yeah.
And so then he's chasing down the turkey. This Indian guy, he has the voice of Droopy, same voice, and he's like, he confides in the turkey. You know, he's like, I really want to catch you because if I catch you, I'll get to marry the daughter of the beautiful Indian princess. And the turkey's like, oh, well, I'll help you out. And so they're like, I don't know, the turkey pretends to be dead. And then he goes and he's the chief awards the daughter to him. And she pulls out the veil and she's hideously ugly. And she has crooked teeth and a big nose. And
right.
It's a Thanksgiving cartoon, but it's got these negative depictions of Native Americans and the ugly girl thing, which
as
trophy,
get away with as trophy.
Right. Yeah, she's a prize that she's given away. I don't know. I don't remember how I got onto that. Oh, the Bouncing Boy girlfriend thing. Yeah. But yeah, as a kid who grew up laughing at that cartoon, she's so ugly and crazy looking. I can still see where they're coming from with this Bouncing Boy scenario.
Right. I would say the Bouncing Boy scenario we're talking about kind of pales in comparison to that.
I agree. They were much more progressive in a Legion comic.
Right. So they have a meeting. We have the Legionnaires convene. Lightning Lad is still in charge for some reason.
Has he been in charge? I don't keep track of the leaders. You always know the leaders, or seem to, maybe.
Well, I remember his tenure seemed like over and over, each guy they put in charge turns out to be a pretty good leader more often than not. Even like Wildfire ends up being a pretty decent leader. So I think they decided, well, someone has to kind of stink at it. And if I remember right, Lightning Lad is kind of a shitty leader. Like, he loses his temper a lot. He's certainly conflicted. Like, he feels like every decision he's making is bad. And Wildfire seems to agree.
Well, in this issue, he struggles to even like hold a meeting with everybody. Like he starts the meeting, and then two of his members like are trying to kill each other, literally, with like blowing up the conference room. And the meeting ends. They don't do anything.
Right.
Wildfire, he lunges at Sunboy and melts the desk in front of him.
After like a very like pantomime-y silly scene where Sunboy, once he melt his chair or something, he falls out of his chair on his ass. And everybody laughs at him.
Yeah, he says, "Don't forget who's the expert at giving hot feet." Speaking of Tex Avery, that cartoon of the Indian has a turkey give an Indian a hot foot with a book of matches. Right. Maybe. Well, I guess the Bouncing Boy girlfriend thing was not a Paul Levitz comic, was it?
No. Before
Jerry Siegel. That's the Jerry Siegel bit right there, huh? He was the funniest one of those old timer guys.
For sure. But that everyone's laughing, maybe it's because they all kind of hate, well, maybe not hate Wildfire, but he's such a blow. He's always pissed off. What is, they even call him like an egomaniac later.
Yeah, they have a little exchange where they're kind of shit talking him behind his back.
Yeah, and I think it's like Cosmic Boy doing the shit talking.
Mr. Wonderful, heart and soul of the Legion superheroes, talking shit about the leader of the Legion. Block has a big part in this issue, this character.
He does.
Block. And he's, speaking of bigness, he is drawn real big. He towers over people, and they kind of back off of that later.
Right.
But he's got to be like 7.5 feet tall in this comic book, which I didn't remember. I'm kind of, my memory is very fuzzy on the early days of Block's membership in the team.
Well, he gets wider, I think, like more square.
Oh, not whiter.
Wider, and he's less scowly. He still has. They're still kind of drawing him the way they drew him when he was a villain. So
yeah, a little bit later on, there's a funny part where he's like, if there wasn't a Legion rule against murdering people, I would just fucking murder this guy. Maybe they'll change that rule soon.
Right. Which by the end they're like, he's Mr. Innocent by the end of his character arc or whatever before they kill him.
Right. He gets what happens? Does he like take up transcendental meditation or something? Like he's just real chilled.
It's all that time with Timberwolf.
Oh, Timberwolf. Wait, Timberwolf fucked him up or Timberwolf fixed him?
Fucked him up. He stupefied him. His stupidity was contagious.
Oh, so he got so stupid Block got so stupid that he forgot that he was like a homicidal maniac
right.
and wanted to kill every bad guy. First, he wanted to kill the Legion, and then the Legion like, well, how about we let you join the team? He's like, oh, all right, I'll kill bad guys instead.
Well, losing his bloodlust was a benefit of him becoming more childlike. In every other instance, it just made him a pain in the ass.
He's so dumb.
Dumb as a rock.
So glad they killed him. Oh, there's a part on this page where Block's like, but it's not so easy for people just to quit the Legion. He's saying this to Bouncing Boy and Do a Damsel, and Bouncing Boy's like, well, we're just reservists. But I guess they've been behaving as if they're full-time Legionnaires for a long, long time now.
Uh-huh.
But they're just reservists, and they could have quit anytime they wanted.
Right. Otherwise, you have to. The whole team has to beat you up to get out.
Uh-huh.
Like a gang.
It's like being in the military.
Like street gangs. I think they beat you in and beat you out.
Fuck.
That's what my dad used to say anyway. Maybe he made that shit up because he didn't want me joining the Crips.
Was he in a biker gang?
Yeah, and the leader of the Pack Days.
Right.
He's like the Fawns.
There's some trailer for a movie that's coming out that I just saw. It's about biker gangs in the 60s, early 60s or something. It has this guy Tom Hardy in it.
Oh, right.
Did you see this?
I've not seen that. I know who Tom Hardy is.
Oh. I only heard about this movie yesterday and watched the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks real gritty, and Tom Hardy's the leader of a biker gang, and there's some guy who's he's like a hot shot, but he's got a girlfriend, and the girlfriend doesn't want to be in a gang or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep sucking him back in or some shit like that.
Oh, okay.
The gist
are they all like Marlon Brando-y?
No, they're more like, remember that that episode of Highway Patrol where Clint Eastwood's a biker?
Oh, okay.
The lead guy kind of looks like that, only more messed up looking, like the Highway Patrol Clint Eastwood biker is still pretty clean cut and nice, but then Tom Hardy, he's like talking all gruff and like fake Chicago, because Tom Hardy is like Welsh or Australian or something, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the woman in it is also a UK based actress, and she's talking Chicago and sounds all ridiculous.
I can't think of that era of bikers without thinking of Brando, and I can't think of Brando without thinking of Twin Peaks: The Return. George Michael. I forget his real name. It's pretty dumb, but it's like the silliest moment in the whole series. I remember a lot of people shitting on it, but I thought it was probably the funniest scene.
It was funny, but like watching it again, like that's I think that's like in the third episode.
Right.
Like I started watching those, but that was the one I kind of quit on. I haven't gone back to it yet. But I'm like, what is the purpose of this? Like most of that other stuff kind of wound up adding up to something a little bit in that series. But that part with him, like, why did they do this?
Those two were maybe the broadest, most comical characters in the series, so it would make sense that their kid would be like out of an SNL sketch.
Yeah, I see people post a picture of the. It's like if you watch the show, they have like Lucy has like a family photo,
right,
of them, and it's just this really ridiculous Photoshop of like a family, and then somebody took Andy's head and pasted it on there, and Lucy's head and pasted it on there, and like they're holding a baby. He's like a 3-year-old. But then they
right.
took like 35-year-old Michael Cera's face and pasted that on there. And so it's all out of proportion and weird.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that was funny. Maybe Michael Cera will be in this biker movie.
That would make the movie for sure. Because Wildfire, I forget, like, he's like, I'll get you, fat motherfucker.
Oh yeah, he calls him Chubbo.
Chubbo.
Like all Bouncing
bastard,
Boy.
I'm glad you're leaving.
All Bouncing Boy did was stop Wildfire from murdering Sunboy.
Right.
And now
right.
Wildfire's like, I'm gonna fucking get you next, you fat piece of shit. People really shouldn't be saying stuff like that to each other.
No, you'd expect better of the children of the 30th century.
And a legionnaire of all people, fat shaming someone.
Yeah, so lame. Oh yeah, so this is the introduction of Medicus One.
Medicus One. It's a satellite. It's owned or it's paid for and funded by the United Planets. It's a hospital satellite near the United Planets headquarters.
Right.
Which is on Earth. In case you were curious how this all works out,
it's naturally nearby. Is that kind of a dig at like senators and stuff having the best care? Located unsurprisingly near the Earth-based headquarters.
Yeah, it is kind of, I guess I feel like it's just a dig that everything is headquartered on Earth, probably a metropolis.
That makes more sense.
Science Police United Planets, and like they've got a whole fucking galaxy or multiple galaxies or whatever headquarter all this stuff, but it's probably just a metropolis. In case you need something, it's down there in Metropolis on planet Earth.
I'd like to see that organ legger panel closer. Will that mess you up to put it up closer?
No.
Does the color look better? Does it look good there? Because I feel like it's kind of dark and flat on the reprint.
It doesn't.
That looks better to me.
Like they have brown spacesuits. And they're kind of, guys are green. Yeah, I read this on a digital one on the, I read this on a digital one online. It's like a rip of like the EPUB version from a long time ago, I think. It's probably not even what's in the DC reprint books.
Mm-hmm.
But like these organ leggers, that's kind of like bootleggers, I guess.
Right,
even though they're not making fake organs. They're just stealing organs from the hospital. They had like green skin, and then they have these weird like chunky lizard lips, and those were colored gray, I think.
Here they're like flesh tone. It's weird. They've got like flesh tone lips and eyelids, but everything else is green. So it looks kind of like they're wearing a hockey mask. I think they look kind of cool the way he draws them, but I don't know. I feel like they could have been colored a little better. Yeah,
I don't think the color's too great here. Like they're in cool spacesuits, quote unquote, cool spacesuits, but they are brown. With like a highlight that the colorist put in.
Right.
The artwork, by the way, in this issue is Pat Broderick and Bruce Patterson. This is the first issue for Pat Broderick. Bruce Patterson's been on it for a little bit already on the series.
I think maybe it's because it's first issue and he had a lot of time to do it, but I think this is one of the better Pat Broderick issues I've read. I think he's a great artist when he's on, when he's good, he's really good. But I think maybe he's slow or something and he ends up rushing a lot because some of his stuff looks terrible. But at this period in this issue, I think if he was always this good, he might be one of my favorites. But he's just so uneven.
I think this was a pretty solid Legion comic art job.
It is for sure.
Like if you consider it's his first time drawing them, and everybody, they always say like, oh, nobody can draw team books or nobody wants to, and they et cetera, et cetera. I don't know, everybody looks really unique and distinct. He gets them all. There's like, this is I assume that in Paul Levitz's first issue back in the series, he's putting everybody in. He can draw a fat guy, he can draw hot girls. He draws Timberwolf in 2 drastically different looks, and it all kind of works. Pretty good drawing on this comic book.
I agree.
Oh, and the stuff like drawing Medicus One does a pretty good job of that. So these organ leggers are breaking into Medicus One. Medicus One is where old favorite Dr. Jimmel has his office.
Who makes his first appearance in this issue.
Oh, is it his first appearance? Didn't know that.
He looks pretty different, but he hasn't quite turned into John MacGyver with 3 arms yet. Here, I'll show you.
John MacGyver?
Let me see. Can I get this guy to show up?
Oh yeah, I recognize that guy.
You know this guy?
Yeah, he he wasn't the mayor of Mayberry, right? He was
No, he's got a very distinct voice. He always plays serious, scoldy, usually angry guys. He was
but he's in sitcoms, right? All the time.
He was in a few episodes of The Twilight Zone where, like, there's one where he hated noise. He was in Artists and Models.
Just like that dog in the Tex Avery cartoon. He's like, I hate noise. Oh, that was a bear, not a dog.
He's in like Jerry Lewis movies.
I've seen him in Jerry Lewis movies. I'm
Midnight
sure.
Cowboy. He's in it.
I haven't seen that. That's a serious movie.
It's a good
right?
movie.
I should see it. Yeah, I've never seen it. It's like pornographic. It's rated XXX, I think.
Oh, it is. Yeah, he's awesome. You should watch some of it, and then watch any scene with him on YouTube, and you go, "That's Dr. Gimble."
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I know. I've seen this guy on sitcoms, or he's the same character, but he's like
always the same
uptight
dude.
and played for laughs. You know,
Right.
Like it's an easy transition to do that and say the same awful shit, but people laugh at you and it's sarcastic and deadpan or whatever.
Right. Totally.
These organ leggers are trying to steal organs from Medicus One, but they run into Timberwolf and Lightlass.
Yes.
I noticed that on this page that Levitz is writing this as if it's my first issue reading a Legion Superheroes comic, and everyone is named, and he tries to work that in kind of elegantly, where Timberwolf, for example, shows up and he's like, it's like, when you go to shear a sheep, you better watch out. You might find a, and then Lightlass cuts him off. And he's like, Timberwolf, what are you doing?
Right.
Like he's trying to find a solution to make it not seem really stilted when a new character appears and is like, hey, I'm Timberwolf. You better not mess with me or you'll get barked at or something like that.
So I'm the best there is at what I do. That's what Wolverine always says.
Yeah. I think Timberwolf should howl.
Yeah. This is kind of, we're saying farewell to the cool Timberwolf.
Yeah.
Both in appearance and like he's still a self-assured character here.
But Lightlass is still kind of like, I can't believe this guy.
Right.
And the hijinks of this.
Right.
He's such a loner, or he's whatever. He's like impulsive, I guess.
Right.
And I don't know if he was that way before, but I guess that's his new thing, is like he's impulsive and he's kind of hot-headed and stupid.
Right.
Even though there's already been two other characters who are impulsive and hot-headed and stupid in this issue. So
right. He's a lone wolf, man.
Yeah. One day he'll be a lone wolf man.
But this just goes to show, like, if you have like an overly controlling girlfriend that tries to get you to get plastic surgery, don't do it. She's just going to dump you. Once she fixes you, she's done with you. She's bored.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen here quite
She'll
yet.
leave you for another woman.
Oh, shit. But at this point, it's a mystery. The reason for Timberwolf and Lightlass to be on Medicus One. Mm-hmm. They take out a bunch of the Oregon leggers. Mm-hmm. Timberwolf, he's so in his zone and so joyful,
right,
at the prospect of taking out every single Oregon legger and leaving nothing for the rest of the Legionnaires to take care of.
Well, he doesn't want them to spend much time there also, because he doesn't want them to get caught being here, getting a procedure.
Right. Yeah, I think they're trying to tease. I think Paul Levitz is trying to tease what procedure Timberwolf might be there to get. And I thought it was probably they're going to show that he's getting a
penis enlargement.
There's that, but I bet he already has a big one. I bet he's getting a vasectomy because they don't want Lightlass to get pregnant. Yeah, they don't want a litter of puppies. Because she only has 2 you-know-whats, mm-hmm. and she'll probably have 6 puppies.
Right. Unlike if he were to impregnate Duo Damsel.
Right. Actually, Lightlass is from a planet of twins. She would have a dozen puppies.
Oh, that would not be good.
Duo Damsel?
A whole litter.
She would have 36 puppies.
18, because Superboy will impregnated the other one.
I can't believe we've never thought of this. What if a fucking dog got triplicate girl pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
She would have to split into 3 to nurse him for sure.
Oh, yes. She'd need.
But it still wouldn't be enough. She'd be all tired all the time.
Yeah.
And hormonal.
You. She's already a bitch. Oh no.
Women,
I'm sorry.
gross.
I'm sorry. That's light lass. It's a bitch. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you must have been talking about Timberwolf's mother.
Damn.
Because she.
Have we met his mother? I don't think we've met his parents.
I don't think she.
Maybe they're dead.
They're
dead or something, right?
He had a father who gave him the powers, but I don't think he had a mother. Instead of a mother, he had an android who raised him.
Told him he was the robot.
Yeah. Like, your mommy doesn't love you and you're a robot. That's why she left. Because you were a robot.
That will fuck a kid up. You tell a kid, or he's a robot his whole life, he's gonna act like a fucking wild wolf. You have a kid, right? Oh yeah.
You ever try to convince him that he's either like a figment of your imagination or that he's an android? Or like you tell him stuff that nothing exists except when it's in a room with you.
I don't need to tell him that. He's a kid. That's what they all think. They think the whole world revolves around and exists to serve them.
No, I meant you tell him that the world revolves around you and makes him believe that.
Just a figment of
Or
my
you're a
imagination.
You were stillborn.
No, I haven't done that. I haven't done that one.
You should try that.
I'm still in the house, so Daddy said.
You never said you wished he hadn't been born? You haven't said that to him yet?
I'd be talking to you from my car. Like using the Starbucks Wi-Fi. Were that the case?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's tried to convince me that he has powers and that he's special in this way or that. Either he's a mutant or a transformer or something like that. But I don't usually play games like that with him because he takes me deadly serious no matter what I say, and then he'll start crying. I'm like, what? That's so absurd. I was just kidding. Don't tell mommy.
I was kidding.
Yeah.
Don't you understand kidding?
I'm coming back. That's like something. He's like, when are you coming back? I'm not coming back, son. Starts crying. I'm like, I'm kidding. Of course I'm coming back. All my shit's here.
Oh, you pulled that on him today, didn't you? Because you're going to FPX tomorrow.
I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
How long are you going to be gone? I don't know. Maybe forever.
Depends on how good you are, how bad you are. Can I have your stuff?
Mommy's going to throw away all my stuff. I'm never coming back.
Mommy's going to put all my shit on eBay.
She is not. She's going to put it right on the curb. Exes do not sell shit on eBay. They throw shit in the trash because it is shit. It is trash.
Right. Or maybe just your shit is shit. I don't know.
Your shit is shit too, fucker.
Yeah.
I think you might have more shit than me, loser.
Probably. So I live vicariously through my acquisition of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all I have left is reliving my preteen life.
Why would you want to do that?
Nothing left.
The preteen life is so miserable. No one should want to relive that.
The preteen life? Before you're a teenager. You think that was the bad part?
Well, the teenage part is crappy. I think pretty much all of the teenage or all the child life.
Damn.
When you're, I mean, it'll be easy. That's true. Like when you live with your parents and they provide everything and you can do whatever the hell you want, kind of, to a degree. But you don't have any money. You don't have any autonomy. Mm-hmm. No one takes you seriously because you're a kid. Really, the best time is probably, it's in adulthood, definitely. Over 18, for sure.
That's crazy talk. But now we know why you don't have a kid.
I'm not old enough to have one yet. Oh,
right. I think until you're like 11 or something, everything's awesome because you don't even know or care about the complexity and awfulness of the world. And you don't have zits yet, and girls aren't rejecting you, and you're probably not getting your ass kicked yet after school. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's all
Do you remember how long a day seemed to last when you were a kid? Like you could go outside and it would just be forever, you know?
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. You didn't think so. You were like, it was awful. I'm so glad time is zipping by fast now.
How do you get it back? I want that back.
Maybe if you had like some kind of brain injury, like your long-term and short-term memories got fucked up, maybe you could get it back.
Right. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to get a hammer. I'm going to smash it in my forehead and see if that makes the days last a little longer.
You might want to look it up first and make sure you hit the right place.
It's in the forehead, I'm sure.
Yeah, man, because life is, everything you're doing is brand new. You're not bored with it. Your brain isn't just like, abbreviating it to another day outside doing nothing.
I guess so. I feel like even as a kid, I would spend a long time just like sitting under a tree out in the backyard or out in the woods and stuff. And I would even think to myself, like, this can't last forever. You know what I mean? Like, this day is going to seem long and great, but next thing you know, it'll be whatever, summer will be over. Or it'll just be fucking Monday and I'll have to go to school or something awful,
Right.
Right. Or adulthood will be here, God forbid.
Yeah, I think I wasted a lot of my childhood pressed about Sundays, which is dumb because it was one entire day off of two. But I was already worried about Monday. And like in the summer, August, what a drag. It's another fucking month. You should be enjoying it.
Same here. I remember that song, Manic Monday, that Bangles song. Remember that?
Written by Prince.
The whole song is about how the weekend's over and Monday is just around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah.
And it's going to fucking suck. The whole week sucked. You got the weekend. Wish it was Sunday.
Yeah.
It's not. It's Monday now. It fucking sucks.
Monday's your fun day.
I heard that song when I was like 7 or something. You know what I mean? And I know all the words to that. Like now I can sing along with that. I know that song.
You make it sound like such a depressing song.
It is. It's a sad
like
song.
Dark. It is.
It's a song about how much life sucks to have
happy.
to go to work.
It seems happy to me.
Just another manic Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Like as someone who's diagnosed with mania Mondays
right.
by a doctor, it is not a happy song.
It's Lithium Day.
6 o'clock already. I was just in the middle of a dream. That happened to me today. This is Thursday, but it happened to me this Monday too. And it was Labor Day, 3-day weekend. I thought about it.
Man, you have
life sucks.
What a tough life you live. Got Monday off so you didn't have to go to your bedroom to go work.
my cushy job.
You'll work in your underwear.
Did you get Monday off?
Hell no.
No?
I'm working class. Working class people don't get Labor Day off.
I think everybody should get it off. I think it should be illegal to make people work or even ask people to work on a Labor Day like that.
It should be illegal to ask people to work for wages they can't support themselves on.
Well, that's
There's
true.
all kinds of shit.
But like these fucking federal holidays, come on, employers, pay us. Don't make us go to work. There's like 5 of them all year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can afford it, Mr. CEO.
Yeah. Son of a bitches.
Fucking plutocrat pieces of shit.
Yeah.
There's a guillotine out there looking for you, you pieces of shit. It's going to find you. Hope you're watching this.
1%ers.
1% of the 1% might be watching this video and hearing this, and they're scared shitless. Tell your friends.
Do you think we have any billionaire viewers? I don't want to upset any of them.
What are they going to do? Unsubscribe?
Elon Musk is going to be like, I'm not listening to your show anymore.
I'm going to delete your accounts on X.
All right.
Yeah, let's get on with this thing.
Yeah, so the Legion come to the rescue. It's the attack force.
Dawnstar, Wildfire, Ultra Boy, Master Attack Force. These guys were born to attack things because Dawnstar can fly, and that's all she can do really in an attack.
And find things.
Right, she could find things to attack.
And endure sexual penetration by an energy being. No.
She is invulnerable because basically she flies at like light speed and she's almost entirely nude. So that her skin or her whole body is nigh invulnerable.
Oh, like the Tick?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming to kick some ass. It's the ass kicking team,
right? And they, these guys kind of look like Skrulls. The organ leggers kind of look like Skrulls in a way.
Look like they're wearing ski masks.
And they have chunky lips that are showing through it.
Right. Or
I think
they're in green face.
I think Wildfire even calls them like, "Hey, pointy ears. Hey, green pointy ears." Dudes just can't quit shitting on people's appearance. Like Probably a whole planet of these guys.
You are gonna get canceled, Buster.
I think Wildfire is probably a pretty big liability,
Right.
To the team.
That's why they didn't ask him back during the 5 years later period.
Yeah,
He's
too rude.
They broke up just so they could reform without him. How come nobody told me you guys got back together?
Anyway, I guess they catch the Oregon Leggers. Yeah, they caught him.
After didn't he burn one of their faces?
Yeah, he incinerates one of them, right?
Kind of looks that way. Oh,
like he doesn't have any qualms. Like he doesn't even know that there's a code against killing. Like Block is like, man, I wish there wasn't that code against killing. Mm-hmm. Wildfire's like, prepare to die. Nice knowing.
What are you gonna do? I'm energy.
Yeah.
You can't arrest me.
Yeah, put the cuffs on me.
Right. And they showed the whole ship shaking from the outside. The ship comes a rocking, come a knocking. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, Paul Levitz, yeah, he has a very descriptive way. It shakes once, twice.
It's like they're making love.
They make love and then finish.
Right. Like
it shakes twice with escaping energy and shudders to a halt. The energy escapes. And then they go to bed.
Right.
That's it.
They share a cigarette, and that's it. Because it's like they were fucking with their superpowers. Their superpowers are their dicks, and they're fucking the bad guys.
Well, yeah, the bad guy is what?
The recipient.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a woman. They might be whatever. I'd be interested in whatever gender, I guess.
Whatever Wildfire's into, whatever superheroes. All right, so
next page is where Karate Kid and Princess Protector quit. They're done. He just calls it in.
I'm sorry, our powers suck, so we're being written out.
Yeah, it's just a one-page thing, and like you couldn't even put Princess Projector on screen or anything.
I know.
He's just like, hey, it's almost like
it's like really,
when you have a job that you hate and you call up your boss and like, hey, I'm not coming in. Bye.
I know. He's not even like talking to the manager.
Yeah.
Like nobody important. Just the fill-ins are there. Oh, when they get back, tell Lightning Lad we quit.
And even the way Bouncing Boy responds, he's like, check. See you around, Karate Kid. Like, that's exactly what I would say if I answered the phone at the restaurant and somebody's like, hey, tell Steve I'm not coming in. Fuck him. I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Bye. Maybe I'll see you at the bar.
Right.
Because it's like, I don't know. I know that Steve will probably be pissed and maybe he'll yell at me, but I'm like, I'm just a messenger, Steve.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, exactly. Val called and he said some shit about getting married or I don't know what. He said he's not coming in anymore. Is his shift covered? Because I'm gonna go. And then Steve was like, God damn it.
He told me to tell you, here I wrote it down, to eat shit. Take this job and shove it. His words, not mine.
I would never say this to anyone in authority. He told me, this is a direct quote from him on the telephone. He didn't leave a number to call back. I don't know. And then Dream Girl shows up and she does this weird Guess Who game with Bouncing Boy and then like sticks her tongue down his throat.
Gets on his lap, starts dry humping him right in front of his wife.
Right. And Duo Damsel is like, hey, that's my husband there you're fooling around with. But
she's like laughing. She's smiling in the first panel.
Yeah, she only ever gets kind of mad about this.
She only seems mad when he reacts to it. Like, he's not disgusted by it. He's like, oh, hey. Then she gets pissed.
Yeah, he's like sweating and he's like tugging on his collar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like this page just sets up Dream Girl as the team S word. Whatever. Slut.
Tease.
Yeah, tease, I guess. Why is she doing this? Why is she like this? Was she ever like this before?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. But I mean, she's with Starboy the whole time, and I don't think she's messing around. This is like some kind of power move of hers.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, like, we know that she's not trying to steal away Bouncing Boy from Duo Damsel. She has no interest in Bouncing Boy except to like fuck with him, you know, not to like literally fuck with him, but to fuck around with him.
Some kind of hot girl flex.
Yeah. Yeah, to do it in front of his wife.
Right.
It's kind of, she's messed up. Like, what's her problem?
I don't know.
She's not going to make too many friends. She's only going to be friends with Brainiac 5 after this.
And is this true to life? We have no way of knowing. An old white guy wrote this. Like, is this just his interpretation of certain women?
Oh yeah, like you think there are actually no women in reality who behave this way? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, maybe they do behave this way, but does he really understand it well enough to? I guess he's not really explaining it. He's just showing it. So maybe it's fine.
It's fine.
He's not going into her motivations.
I mean, if you try to imagine what they would be, I can't figure it out. Can't
Women.
pin down this chick.
Mystery.
Oh, but she says some shit about, or she's thinking about how she foresaw this happen in a dream, I guess.
Yeah.
So maybe she had a dream where she makes out with Bouncing Boy, and then they leave, and then we don't know what happens in the dream, but she knows that the dream continued.
Dark side came,
or she came, Bouncing Boy, and then he came.
Wait, came as in.
And then Duo Damsel came 4 times.
And then Darkseid showed up and destroyed everyone.
Right.
So she can't even like enjoy it.
And then after Darkseid destroyed everything, he came.
Right. Omega come. It follows them around corners and
gross. Can't believe you had an idea like that.
I love all the faces. I love all the drawings on the. I guess. Oh damn it, we're on different pages now. Sorry, on the. It doesn't matter.
All the way on the making out page.
Yeah, he's at the top of his game here. He's drawing well.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, Element Lad.
Well, it's page 13. It has all faces, and there's like this stern-looking Saturn girl, and Lightning Lad with his hideous David Cassidy looking haircut, or not David Cassidy, but yeah, David Cassidy. Who's the fucking guy from Partridge Family? That's David Cassidy, right?
Yeah, trying to hide his receding hairline here. The bang cut. This is before he got his rug in issue 300. Dr. Gimel sewed it on.
Right. Lightning Lad's like, I have an appointment up here with Dr. Gimel, a secret appointment of my own next week. I don't know. All the Legionnaires now are Medicus One, trying to clean up the mess that the Oregon Leggers have created, I guess.
Yeah, they just can't get away from this place. First they come to try to stop those guys, and now they're fixing it. It'd suck if they'd have to come a third time.
That's what I always say.
Yeah.
After the second coming, I'm done.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Some good Chameleon Boy drawings on this page.
We have Brainiac 5 and about what an egomaniac wildfire is.
Oh, yeah, it's back here. I keep skipping ahead of you. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Our pageation, or whatever you call it, is slightly different.
Oh, is
my
that right?
my spread is different than your spread.
Oh, yeah. You need to get the fucking comic books like a normal person instead of the reprints.
I know. This $100 book, whatever it is.
More like 150.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Lightning Lad goes to Timberwolf's hospital room with Light Lass, and all through the issue, he's like talking about respecting Timberwolf's privacy and shit. All part of the mystery that Levitz is leading us through of what exactly Timberwolf might be in the hospital for. And so now Timberwolf's on a bed. He doesn't have any clothes on. Lightning Lad's like, look, dude, it's your life. Whatever you want. I'm just trying to respect your privacy.
I've seen what she's done to her other boyfriends. I'm just telling you.
Known her my whole life, dude. Whatever.
Sister's crazy shit. But yeah, it does seem like he's at least somewhat sympathetic to him this time around. Like, if I remember right, in the 70s, or whenever they started dating, like, he seemed to very much dislike Timberwolf dating his sister.
Oh, really?
At this point, like, he's like, they're both fucking crazy. They deserve each other. Yeah, wasn't there like some issue where they got stranded on a planet and they had it out about Timberwolf and Lightning Lad?
Oh, that could be. That was a big issue. That's one of the Levitz and Giffen ones.
Okay.
I haven't read that one in a long time, but yeah, they're stranded on an asteroid.
I guess that would be after they broke up then, though, right?
Could be.
So then at that point, he's like, you need to quit calling my sister.
Get rid of that stupid doll.
We still have to cover that issue where he's in their trophy room and there's some life-size replica of her and he's like crying. And there's a crook watching. He's like, is he crying? Is he talking to that statue? Is he crying?
Now I'm on the page with Chameleon Boy.
Right.
And Sun Boy.
Kind of still in his Jack Webb mode. It kind of seems like very just the facts.
But he's getting kind of existential. He's like, now that I know that R.J. Brand is my father,
right.
I don't want to ask any more questions. I want to learn the answers to all the old questions or something stupid like that. Kind of nonsense.
Do you think at this point they're writing him like Mr. Spock? Or?
I don't know. Like they've got the whole whatever father-son dynamic thing going on. I don't think they make him Mr. Spock. I think Brainiac 5 is always like a step away from being characterized as Mr. Spock.
Not always. He was silly back in the day.
Okay, but in the more modern, in the 70s and 80s. Once Mr. Spock isn't invented, they start turning Brainiac 5 into Mr. Spock.
Right, Mr. Spock the detective.
I guess so.
This can't be too far from when that reveal happened in Secrets of the Legion.
Yeah, he says it was a few days ago or a few weeks ago or something.
It probably has been like a year or longer, because I think that was kind of early on in Jimmy James' time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But nobody, Conway and Thomas didn't bother using it or mentioning it ever again. So Levitz is dealing with that now.
Right, and he runs with it. They have this Chameleon Boy, RJ Branch shit going on until, well, like they're still messing with that in like issue 308 or something like that, right? When he loses his powers.
Right.
And then kills his brother, maybe? Cool Atari ad for Asteroids, Missile Command, Video Pinball. That's not in your fucking reprint book, is it? No. Sucker.
Shit. Carrot.
Yeah, there's more of this stuff where Saturn Girl's trying to get Lightning Lad to tell her what the fuck is going on with Light Lass and Timberwolf, and he's evading everything, and he's talking about making dinner, and he makes food that's really bad, and he throws up. It's this dark green mess.
It's pretty funny. It's
a funny drawing of him barfing or gagging or whatever.
I do really like artists who like suddenly switch into a sillier style just for one panel and go back.
Yeah, and I think in like even today it's probably difficult, but now that everybody's seen a lot of manga, I guess you could probably get away with it a little more easily.
Right.
But like I don't know, like if I turned back in 1979 or whatever this was, if I turned in this thing where he gets all crazy and explodes, like Mike Barr would be like, I'm not sure if that makes any sense, and you would have to change it.
Right. It is weird though that they're just maintaining the mystery. That's the only reason.
Oh, reason for this whole page? Yeah.
Because I would think if I was talking to my wife, I would be like, yeah, he's fucked up. He's getting plastic surgery. Don't tell anybody. I wouldn't be like keeping it from my wife, probably, even if maybe I should. But
oh yeah, and if it's like simultaneously like your sister's messed up boyfriend,
right,
and
exactly,
like this coworker guy, like you would totally tell, who, your wife plus your coworker. Like we see this guy all the time. We've known this guy for 20 years.
Right.
Like, listen to this, honey. You're not going to believe this crazy shit that Timberwolf is up to. Right. But for some reason, he doesn't want to tell her. He really respects the privacy of his sister and Timberwolf. Yeah. Lightning Lad's sister is Light Lass. They are identical twins.
Right.
Identical twins.
Yeah.
The Saturn Girl also was like, well, if you don't want to tell me, that's fine. I could read your mind, but I won't. I promise.
Read your mind anyway.
I love you, so I won't force you to tell me anything you don't want to. Oh, and here it is. Here is the big reveal. We're going to find out what they're doing to Timberwolf. Is he getting a vasectomy? Is he getting his dick extended or shortened?
This big contraption shooting Kirby dots in his crotch. That's his giant hairy scrotum up on that pillow. I mean, for plastic surgery, this is some pretty serious shit. Serious rig.
Well, they do a good job, right?
Good at first. I think it sort of starts looking a little Gil Gerardish after a couple of years. But I think that's Giffen. That's Giffen's doing.
Yeah, this guy says nothing more can be done by any laser surgeon in this galaxy, I guarantee you. So they've got the best guy that the United Planets HMO can offer up. And he's got like, just like you would expect, he's bald and he has some kind of weird goggles contraption where one eye is not covered and the other has like a weird like telescopic thing.
Yeah, he does look pretty weird, but I guess it's kind of like you want to go to the barber with the bad haircut because he's like the best barber. Isn't there some story like that? Like, where am I going here? Like, he's such a great plastic surgeon, but he can't work on himself.
Yeah. I've always thought a good, like, those philosophical questions like, what's the sound of one hand clapping, or the tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound, or who watches the Watchmen? I always thought a good one would be like, who cuts the barber's hair?
Well, right. There is one like
But
that.
it's never
You
really
know,
caught on. I've never heard
the
anybody
town
say
with,
that.
if there's a town with like two barbers, one has good haircut, one has a bad haircut. Which one do you go to?
Oh.
And you go to the one with the bad haircut.
Oh, that's a good one. I've never heard that before. Yeah, you go to the you go to the barber with the go to the barber who generated the good haircut. So I guess he's the one who has the bad haircut. Yeah.
Correct.
I chose wisely. Anyway, this guy's given Timberwolf a super facelift.
Right.
And he's, what do they say? He says, I've restored your original features as closely as I could. You look like a human being again.
Right. Which he kind of skips over one of the big mysteries to me in Legion history. They never really explain why he changed into the wolf guy in the first place. We know that he disappeared and was believed dead, and then he just showed up. But even when he showed up, no one was like, "Whoa, you look different," you know?
Yeah, everybody accepted that that's how he looked. I think maybe it's just because, like, yeah, he must have undergone some kind of transformation. They're
Right.
like, well, he's got the rest of the costume is the same.
Mm-hmm.
He knows all the facts about Timberwolf. This guy's Timberwolf. It's not going to mention it. It was in an era where it was rude to mention the fact that somebody you know has undergone ridiculous changes.
Right. Like not trying to point out like a growing mole on their face or their hair's falling out or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and in this period, it's cool now. It's like, if you're fat, we're going to make fun of you. If you're a Indian princess and you're ugly, we're going to laugh at you. Shit.
Right. And this and this weird vagueness around his appearance continues because Giffen will have him in the drawings become more beast-like he was before when he's angry, getting really savage, but it's never explained. Levitz never says anything that, as far as we know, it wasn't in the writing at all. It was all Giffen's.
Yeah.
In fact, the closest, and we'll just have to get to it, if they acknowledge it anywhere, it has to be in 5 years later. Like, so I assume what happened to him is like an extension of that.
Yeah, that's the only logical thing, right? But what's it's kind of confusing because like the handsome guy or the original appearance version that we get in this issue and beyond, it's plastic surgery, you know,
right?
Like, it's not like, I don't know, like the plastic surgery part seems like the unnatural thing, and you wouldn't be able to go back and forth from a plastic surgery modeled face to a monster face, and then back.
I kind of would have speculated like why they did this in the first place, other than obviously trying to look less like Wolverine, even though he was first. I wonder if the idea to make him human again was just so they could have that contrast of him like transforming when he's angry and back.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe we'll see as time goes on what they do with that. It does seem kind of really out of left field. I don't know if in previous issues there's some kind of, I find it hard to believe that they did any depth into the relationship of these two people. Mm-hmm. that would culminate in him deciding to change his appearance to please her.
I think it's totally unprecedented.
But like, if that's all it is, like, that's not, I don't know, that's even more messed up, I guess.
I don't think they had, like, he wasn't doing an examination of a woman who's crazy and wants to control her boyfriend or whatever. They decided for whatever reason they want him to be human, and she'll just be the excuse in the story for it to happen. And they're not even thinking about what that says about their relationship and her personality, that she's pushing him to appearance change.
Right. On this page, in her defense, in defense of Light Lass, it almost seems like, well, I mean, it's ambiguous whether she pushed him or, it almost seems like he came to her. It could have been that he came to her and he's like, hey, I used to look more like a normal person, and now I look like a werewolf and I have red eyes. Should I do something about this? And, what do you think? And then they talk it out like normal adults, and they come to a conclusion. And then in the last panel of this page, he's like, did I make a big mistake?
Right.
And she's like, oh, you crazy. We talked all about this, and now you're having second thoughts. And she gets annoyed and leaves. And she's like, how did I fall in love with such a person like you, or whatever?
You're being very charitable to her. to me, it reads very much like this was her idea from the beginning, and he's unsure of it. He's like, I don't know, is there going to be side effects? Which it seems like a reasonable concern. And she like flips out on him and leaves. You're whining about side effects.
Yeah, it could go either way. That's kind of what I was saying. Is that
right?
Like Levitz is not clear on this, and I think a charitable person could see it in one way, and then a cynical son of a bitch like you,
misanthropic, woman hater,
misogynist, could be like, of course it's his girlfriend trying to control him and all this stuff. Maybe she's nice and he is just a goofball.
Of course, usually it's the man twisting the woman's arm to change her appearance. Maybe we're being progressive here. It's the other way around.
Probably so. What do you think? You think he should have? Do you think he looks better as a werewolf or as a handsome dandy here?
Werewolf, definitely. Definitely. I used to not think that. I used to like the sort of James Dean one from the 60s the most. And I thought the werewolf one looked dumb, but after I read all those issues, I guess I became more attached to that.
Speaking of James Dean, that kind of reminds me of when he showed up in the Return of Keith Giffen issue of Baxter number 50. He kind of looked like that. He kind of looked slimmed down. Mm-hmm. And he did look more like a James Dean type. Like, I never really thought about it before. Like, he was a sort of a regular looking, like Kurt Swan looking guy or something. But then they had him, or Giffen would draw him in kind of like it only lasted one issue maybe, in like kind of a little brooding pose, and he had this like angular, slim chin and stuff. Right. He really did look like James Dean.
Was it Swan or Fort who did him first? I just remember like that was the closest analog you had to like a long-haired character from that period in a clean-cut DC book. Is kind of the rebel without a cause looking guy, or like he's got the big hair. He looks like a 50s biker or something.
And he's a lone wolf. You're right.
Ultra Boy kind of had that look too, like they were the wild guys. Can I bring up one stupid thing? In the lower right-hand corner of page 16. I think he's trying to be clever, and these are supposed to be two different panels on the bottom right, and then the inker put a crosshatch in the gutter.
To me, it looks like they're in a TV studio, and they move the camera way up, and you can see the fake wall and see the top of it.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter the way. It could be a cross section.
Yeah, either way, it's kind of a weird panel. Like it's just he didn't need to draw it that way for sure. Right. Like you see Timberwolf and the doctor in the other room, and they're just like not doing anything, not reacting to what she's saying. Mm-hmm. And you can't see her emotion either, even though she's annoyed. So maybe more like a close up or more of a middle shot of her like slamming the door behind her or something like that. Mm-hmm. Might have been. Just a armchair quarterback, Pat Broderick, 50 years later.
So at last, the premiere of Dr. Gimel.
Yeah, and he has 4 arms here instead of the traditional
or
3.
6, depending on how you look at it. Because it seems like all of his limbs are like the same. Like his legs and arms aren't any different from one another.
Oh, yeah, you're right, except this one.
Oh, and another panel, is it different?
No, in this first panel. Well, see
pop up before?
He kind of looks like he has like regular human hands on one half of his body, and on the other half he has like lobster claws or something.
Oh yeah, they all look kind of the same to me. Like he just has 6 arms radiating around his head. Though he does seem to have somewhat of a body.
Yeah, real weird. And his face looks a lot different than usual.
He doesn't seem designed to me in a way. Like it seems like he didn't intend on ever drawing him again.
Yeah, but also he seems more designed than the other aliens on this page, where there's just a guy with an elephant head, and then a blob like smoking a cigar, and then like a dinosaur.
The elephant head guy. The elephant head guy looks pretty cool.
Yeah, but real lazy, right? Like
doesn't even have hands.
He's probably from the same planet as that guy who has the horse head.
Yeah, he's showing up soon.
Yeah. Actually, he's showed up before, right? He was in a Jim Sherman issue, I think.
Oh, okay. Broderick drew some stories with him.
Yeah, I think so.
What happened to Horse Guy? Did he survive the reboot?
I bet he survived all the way up until 0 Hour. I don't know if he was in the reboot or not. But he didn't get blown up with the moon or Earth. that horse guy Hernath, I think is what his name is.
Yeah.
He's probably still out there somewhere, dry docking spaceships.
Was Gimel on the moon too?
I think Gimel is always on Medicus One, which is in orbit around Earth, so he may not have survived. He got his final credit voucher punched.
Yeah, they should do it. There should be a comic series set on Medicus One, just following the doctors around like a doctor drama. Like aliens, just following Dr. Gimel. Be a good one shot.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I don't know. There was a Science Police miniseries, but yeah, one where they followed Medicus One or Quarantine.
Right,
Would be kind of a good idea.
Trapper John, MD, St. Elsewhere kind of thing.
ER.
Bunch of aliens.
Like Dr. Gimel will be like the George Clooney of Medicus One.
Or he's
all hot.
He's the wise guy smoking a pipe at the desk with all the other young guys around.
Yeah, he's probably he would be the dude who's always threatening to put you on, clean the bedpans, or going to put you in front of the medical review board or some shit like that. Right. He's all stressed. Light Lass gets blown up on this page, and then a giant teddy bear named Oranus is going to feed on her.
Name. Very unfortunate name.
On this page, he looks like a teddy bear. The next page,
somewhere between orgasm and anus,
orgy and anus.
Yeah.
And then he sticks out his tongue and wraps it around her head, and he says, Oranus feeds.
Ugh.
And he has unfortunate looking fingers.
He's a horror show, all right.
Yeah.
Gives her the hypnotized eyes.
Oh yeah, the surprint hypnotized eyes.
That's kind of like
got him
Gene
too.
Simmons.
Oh, I didn't notice this. There's a little shadow of somebody coming to save her. And he says, I don't know what you're doing, ugly, and I don't care. Another comment on somebody's appearance. This is a very common thing in these Paul Levitz comics.
Yeah. He's been good looking for like 2 pages, and he's already like making fun of ugly people.
Punching down, Timberwolf. Come on. Don't you remember where you came from? But yeah, handsome Timberwolf flies into action and releases Oranus's tongue from Light Lass's face.
Oranus.
Oh, is this the first time that they show the Legionnaires playing D&D? And is this how D&D is played? Like every time they show it, it's just like a barbarian and a lizard or somebody like fighting. That's not D&D, is it? Like a hologram of fighting?
You're asking the wrong guy, but I think it's different. This is
D&D is just a bunch of talking, right?
Right.
And you make some notes in your notebook.
Mm-hmm.
There's hardly any fighting. It's just like boring stuff.
Right. You like roll dice, and that determines the outcome of the fight, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But there isn't even a fight. It's like you don't. Right. Maybe if you're really excited, you're like, "Yeah, I punched you and I hit you with my wizard stick or whatever." But it's like.
But Paul Levitz, visionary that he is, predicts video games, which are like Pac-Man at this point. They become so advanced, you will not need to play with a die. You can just have like these fully rendered guys beating the shit out of each other, like Mortal Kombat. And that is going to replace the dice. Wrong.
Yeah, people are still playing D&D. There must be like on this computer they're messing with that has all the buttons. There's a one button they push that rolls the dice, and it's a digital dice. Yeah, I'm postulating here that must. It's kind of like when you play a fucking one-armed bandit. Slot machine.
Right. Yeah.
But it doesn't have the arm anymore. It doesn't have a slot. It's not a machine. You just push a button and the fucking digital display goes boop, 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 boop. And it's like, no, you didn't get 3 sevens. Oh no, you didn't get 3 cherries. That's all it is. It's like a computer that says you lose instead of like a Clockworks thing that says you lose.
Right. Well, he's also tapping into like Star Wars, right? Like 77-ish. Remember they're like playing they had some kind of game they were playing on the Millennium Falcon on a table, like claymation guys beating each other.
But it was like a chess game or something. So weird. Like how can it's like in a movie, chess isn't good enough. Like, like my pawn killed your queen. Like that's not good enough. Like my pawn has to kill your queen, and then there has to be Ray Harryhausen has to come in and do a claymation of like a cartoon pawn killing a cartoon queen, and they put this digital or this holographic filter fuzz all over,
Right.
just so we get it. Like chess isn't good enough.
You know, the other thing I wonder about this, I've always wondered about this and never bothered to look up, is it's weird how they keep, isn't that like a brand name, Dungeons and Dragons? Or is it like open source kind of? Like, can anyone name check it?
I don't know. I bet you could say I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons. You could say that
He
in a
mentions
comic
it
book.
every chance he gets in the
Yeah.
series. It's almost like he's getting paid to mention it.
Hmm.
Is it because he's a player himself? Is it just so Square? I think this is what the kids are doing. So
That's
we should have
definitely
to-
that second one. It's definitely
Yeah.
that. He's like,
Right.
let me imagine what the kids are doing. I talked to some nerds. They're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
And he's like, I don't actually know how they play it, but
right. He's like, all I know is that my satanic priest told me to put Dungeons and Dragons in my comic book.
right.
I don't know what happens on the rest of the page. They go to rescue somebody. They're going back to Medicus One.
They got to go back.
Third time's a charm.
That's right. Oh, they've got to go fight Orgasmo.
Right, Orgasmo with his urethra fingers.
Right. Even Block has to wear a fishbowl.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. He breathes? No, he's not wearing a fishbowl. You're wrong.
He is too. Page 21.
Oh, yeah, there he is. It's so small. I wouldn't think he would have to because he doesn't probably have a respiratory system.
You thought wrong, motherfucker.
I guess so. Even rocks need to breathe.
Well, maybe he's just wearing it to communicate. I guess that's what the telepathic earplugs are for in there.
Yeah. You know what, though? He doesn't have ears. In none of these three panels does he have any ears. So I don't know how he can hear. I don't know how he breathes. This guy's a mystery, and they never solve any mysteries about him.
No. I think there's a bunch of animals that don't have ears that can hear, external ears.
Yeah, but they have holes. He doesn't seem like he even has holes in his head.
Does Block have a hole? Orgasmo will find out.
Yeah, he's gonna stick his tongue, wrap his tongue around Block's head.
That's right.
Probe around for the holes.
It looks like we have the beginnings of Block's comic relief klutziness here too, which will become like the entirety of his character pretty soon.
Yeah, he's like, I'm so big, I can't go through the doorway.
Yeah,
like, isn't that like a Herman Munster kind of gag?
Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Right. He just becomes Herman Munster, and then I guess that means Timberwolf is like Grandpa Munster. And I guess that means that Lightlass is Lily Munster.
Yeah, that'd be a good series. I was just watching the Munsters today.
Gee. Wait, the Munsters today?
No. This day. I was watching the Munsters, not the Munsters today. I'd never watch that bullshit.
And what'd you think?
Of the Munsters? I love the Munsters. I watch it all the time.
Let's get through this comic book.
Yes, let's do it.
We can talk about Leave It to Beaver anytime.
Yeah, that's right.
These three guys are going to go and they're trying to take out Oranus.
I know.
Who's this girl? He just has a random girl, I guess. They learn that Oranus basically has the powers of like Duplicate Boy. Like he sucks your powers out of you.
Yeah.
And then he has those superpowers.
It's this weird scene with Brainiac 5. It's like, my computer mind has stored the appearance of every known being in the universe, but not that. My God, not that. But is he just saying he just didn't happen to memorize this thing? Because he's making it sound like this is the worst thing he knows of. Like he does know what it is. Okay.
I got the impression that it was something he'd never seen before. It was something so horrifying, and it's something he'd never seen before in all his memorizations of every species. Like
he's horrified by the realization that he doesn't know everything. Like, oh God, I didn't memorize this one. Oh,
I think Oranus is supposed to be very scary and frightening.
Right.
He's not really. He's just kind of gross.
Yeah.
But it also sets up a mystery of where this guy came from, because somehow the organ leggers left a bomb behind that Oranus was in or something, like some little capsule-sized bomb, and they blew up, and now you got Oranus.
Like a scrotum, and it grew to.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Jokes aside, even without the jokes, it does sort of seem like he's some sort of weird sex monster.
Yeah. He has weird dick fingers, and he sucks your power out with his tongue, and his name has anus in it.
Right, and he's practically drooling in every panel.
And he's going to take your power. But whatever. Oranus. He's got all their powers now.
Right.
Somehow they figure it out that he can't take Block's power, because I guess Block doesn't have any powers, or he's not like a human.
Right.
But the Block spends 2 pages beating up Oranus, pounding Oranus.
Yes. He forces him down. On page 25, he mounts him. He's holding him.
Yeah.
He's holding
Chokes him
down.
out, holds him down, pounds Oranus.
Rock hard.
And he says, it will surely drain all my energy.
Mm-hmm.
This comic is pornographic.
We see Block stumbling away, spent.
Oh, this is the page where, page 26, he's like, wish I could have killed this guy.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, and we're at the end too, huh? They finally get to have their meeting. They had a false start of their membership meeting at the beginning. Now they got it going again. And he just manages to do what we knew he was going to have at the first meeting and say that Bouncing Boy and Do a Damsel are out. OWT.
Oh, yeah, and that Tyrock guy.
Oh, man. Poor old Tyrock. They didn't even get to...
Not coming back.
It's worse than Projectra, because at least Projectra had an advocate in Karate Kid who is like, me and Projectra, though she's in the other room, we're not coming back. Tyrock is like, oh, by the way, this guy that none of you knows, and if you knew him, you wouldn't like him. He's never coming back.
Right.
So let's get lunch.
The end. Time for some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Brainiac 5 likes to play.
Yeah, this last panel's kind of dorky. Who says that? Who says, Brainy, you're incorrigible? Who says that? Probably, I guess he plays with Sunboy, huh?
I don't know. This is the whole gang play?
It's Brainiac 5, Sunboy, Cosmic Boy, and Element Lad. And then I think sometimes in the later ones...
Starboy plays, right?
I think maybe Starboy and maybe Block and Timberwolf, unless they're too dumb to play. Maybe they don't play.
I don't think you ever see any of the chicks play, though.
Yeah, different times. Girls were not into RPGs.
Girls play those games for sure. The loser ones.
Yeah. The Bow Wows, they'll play.
The Bow Wows.
Damn. I don't think. He Lightning that also invokes the 25 member limit for tax purposes. You can't go over more than 25 members
for taxes.
Yeah, and Block. He's like, Block. It's a long story, and Block's like, I'll look it up.
The beginning of his many searches.
Right, looking through the data banks.
While he's stuck on monitoring.
Where all the stupids have to be.
That's why Bouncing Boy and Do a Damsel out entirely. You need to clear some room in the monitor room to stick entirety of his rack.
Had to combine those 2 chairs into one really big one.
Put the lame guy somewhere.
Oh, right, I see what you're saying. I get it now.
Right.
Block sucks. Glad he's dead.
Ugh. He's all right. I like him.
Oh, next issue, Night Never Falls at Nullport. So yeah, that horse guy, he is in next issue. That's his base, is Nullport. Plus a Dream Girl backup story, I guess. Probably following up on her premonition that from this issue, that she didn't know if it would be fulfilled or not.
Oh, yeah.
He's already getting some ongoing storylines happening here, getting the wheels spinning.
Oh, yeah, and that Dream Girl, I think isn't it the first Levitz? Or the Keith Giffen?
Oh, it must be, yeah. Keith Giffen starts doing some backup stories, but only for maybe 3 issues before he's full time.
Yeah.
And then Pat Broderick's doing the backup stories.
Right. Yeah, I'm guessing... I just think Broderick must be a slow artist because some of his stuff, like especially like later, like his Alpha Flight stuff, looks terrible. And I just think, like, probably like does the first few pages really well, and then he starts running out of time. He just has to rush, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience reading him. I know he did Captain Atom, and he was doing that Green Lantern. I picked up Green Lantern #1, and I read that for a while. It was
I liked him on Green Lantern a lot. But when he was on Green Lantern, he had to rotate with other guys.
Yeah, but I think that was just how they were writing the comic, right? Like they would switch from Hal Jordan to John Stewart, for example, and a different artist is doing the John Stewart story arc. I think it was. Right. I think Pat Broderick did maybe a year straight of Hal Jordan. Could be wrong. Really? It was a long time ago. They had Hal Jordan doing this shit like The Fugitive. Where he's hitchhiking and wearing jeans most of the time, and then sometimes he has to put on his Green Lantern costume, but he still has a 5 o'clock shadow and looks like shit. Yeah,
whatever. Kind of back to what he was doing with Green Arrow. Only he was doing it by himself. He's on the road. The David Banner shit, like you said, The Fugitive. Yeah, it was him, and then Joe Staton did Guy Gardner and Milestone guy. MD Bright.
MD Bright.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's it. There's a letters page. It's kind of nothing. That's Legion 284. Welcome aboard Paul Levitz and Pat Broderick for the long haul.
Yeah.
LLL.
Awesome.
Hey, we did that in like less than 2 hours. Not bad.
We did?
Yeah. This conversation's over.